Yeah. Another thing I was thinking about in terms of this whole AGI race is I think we underestimate how much smarter we get.
Okay, go on.
How much more intelligent that we get. And so there's a world where we never view it as AGI, even though it keeps getting better and better and better. Like I use say GPT-5 or sorry, GPT-4 and see go back GPT-3 and I'm like, this is mind blowing. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And then you get used to it. You're like, eh. And then you go to GPT 3.5 and then Turbo and then like 4, whatever, right?
Right.
And we get used to it. It's like the iPhone. The first iPhone was amazing.
Yep.
And now we're like, iPhone 250 gigs, like this is trash. I can watch 4K video on here and basically do everything, yawn, you know? Like it's just like we get used to things, and part of that is our reasoning develops when we have a yardstick. You see what I mean by that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And even like, I feel the same way with iPhone development. There's really not a whole lot of things that are happening between 14, 15, 16, and then 17.
Right.
Like, okay, maybe the camera's getting a couple megapixels better.
Yeah. Maybe
you have a slightly faster processor, but all in all, I'm not being blown out of my seat by these improvements.
Yeah.
And so that's very interesting. And AGI might just creep up on us.
I mean, that's how it does, right?
Yeah.
It's because
Oh yeah.
Founders Drive.
We're back
that's us.
What's
up?
It's my neighbor right here who's cruising in.
Hey. So yeah, we're back. Another Founders Drive.
What's going on this week?
Man, so first, let's start with some updates we have coming out.
Yes.
We've opened up some of our functionality. So we have some try as guest features, which is pretty cool. We have some updates for entrepreneurs on the platform that want to sell. You can essentially, before you had to have an account to make purchases, but we have some guest checkout features to just make selling that much easier, make it easier for the creative entrepreneurs on the platform, make that experience better, help people transition into this new economy. You got some bug fixes that we have coming out.
Yep. And then of course we'll be upgrading all of our AIs to the new GPT models.
GPT-5
came out this week.
Yeah, baby.
I've seen a mixed reaction.
I have too. I've seen a lot of positive reactions from the GPT-5 team.
Yeah.
And I've seen some less than stellar reactions on the consumer front, especially the paid customers. I was just reading some articles and Reddit posts that people are like, hey, they're rolling out the latest, what am I paying for? And people are saying that it's not quite the jump that they expected. It's not quite AGI like everybody thought it was going to be.
It's definitely not AGI. It's, I mean, essentially it's just 4.1 with a little bit more reasoning on top and like a little bit better tool calling. I was playing around with it earlier this week, and you can ask it like, hey, who are you? All of the other models get that question right. Yeah. Except this model keeps saying like, yeah, I'm 4.1. I'm based on GPT-4.
Or it'll say my knowledge cutoff is October 2024.
I think it's the same as. I think it's even June.
Is it?
Yeah, oh, wow. It's either October or June. It's the same cutoff as GPT 4.1. So I don't think that there was anything in terms of training data or functionality that they really like went above and beyond here. It was just giving it a little bit more time to think and reason. And I think that's what we're seeing as like a differentiator.
Well, there's a lot more safety training from what I've heard.
Safety training?
Yeah,
that's interesting.
So I spend more time, I guess, curating the responses. And the thing that I think it's an improvement, and I think that they're using more agentic features too.
Yep.
Not only just accessible by the people that are using it, like the users, but also under the hood and in the background. But the thing that we always talk about expectations on here.
Right.
It's like the expectations were here, and then they didn't quite meet the expectations that they set for themselves.
Yeah, to me, and that partially has to do with the marketing around it too. Like, if I'm going to jump a major version from 4 to 5, I'm expecting a major upgrade in functionality. What this feels like a little bit more is a smaller jump, maybe 4.5. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not the big jump that I think people were looking for, like you said. And to me, it just kind of shows that a lot of these models are plateauing. A lot of the improvements that they're coming out with is, you know, it's not as an exponential increase anymore. It's more of like a plateau.
Yeah. And I don't know, like, so we've talked about this before. The amount of data they're running out of trainable data.
Real data.
And then the second thing is like right now what we're seeing is the models aren't making those jumps like they did in the early days.
Yeah.
And so personally, I think the gains are going to be coming on how we use the technology.
Yes.
It's one of those things where we overestimate what we can do in the short term, but we underestimate what we can do in the long term.
100%.
And this is going to be one of those examples completely. On Sam Altman's front, and even on Elon's front, these two butt buddies that go back, is I think they're right and they're correct in the idea that this stuff is transformational.
Oh yeah.
But I think they also overhyped the immediate right now to set themselves up for the long-term breakthroughs that they're expecting.
That could be true.
It's like developing that sense of urgency for people to be like, hey, you need to get involved. You need to get involved. We need to fundraise this amount of money. But I think it even goes back to the whole deep seek thing, is that's not always the areas that we're going to see the most improvement. Sometimes it isn't just how we're using these models or how we're using the neural nets, how we're setting up our architecture to train and for people to use.
Really the simulation architecture of like using it to run simulations, I think is where we're going to see the most jump. Like right now it was giving it more time to think. That was a huge jump. I think the next big jump is going to be the simulations.
But like, let's think about this for a second.
Yeah.
If you're just a person, we all know that being in a classroom, for instance, people have different models of how they interact with the material that they're trying to learn in the classroom.
Yeah.
Some people have a better grasp or a better model and other people don't. And so not even looking at smart versus dumb, just looking at what information you have available to you, not necessarily inside the classroom, but outside of the classroom, can have a huge impact on how intelligent you are. Right. So I say all that to say, sometimes it's not even about the amount of time you have to think. Sometimes it's about where you're starting your thinking, where you're ending your thinking, how you create and operate within the context that you're in.
Yeah. Better plans, better execution. Well, better plans lead to the better execution.
Yeah.
And so,
and how you make sense of your experience to refine your context. I was talking to somebody, a founder, and he was saying, I mean, can you imagine this? It's like they have so much time to think now. They have so much time to think. But it's not really about just having more time to think. It's about being able to think quickly and accurately. You could be on the basketball court or on the football field. Yeah, you might come up with the right answer if you've been given 4 days. But by then, the game's over. People are rehabbing, prepping for the next game. It's like we need split-second decisions that are accurate and reliable. And to me, that's a marker of intelligence. That's not the only marker of intelligence, but it is a marker of intelligence that I'm not necessarily seeing with the trajectory that we're on. Give it more resources.
That's interesting, because to me, there's different flavors and types of intelligence there, and there are scenarios where you would want to take a while to think about it. Specifically, the academic world. Yeah. Where it's like, if I'm going to try and win a Nobel Prize, I don't need to solve it within my, the test, the time of I'm taking a test. Yeah. I have months, years to do peer research and to replicate my studies and to do all these things that I'm hoping that GPTs are going to get faster and faster at. But just to see that you can put the exact same model in the same exact environment, and the only variable you're changing is how much time it has to think, and it scores exponentially better. That to me is really interesting, because it's almost like we were handicapping some of these models to begin with. Okay. Right. We were just like, oh yeah, give it to me fast. Give it to me fast. Yeah. It's like I could, and it's just not going to be as high fidelity. If you give me a little bit more time, I actually give you like a PhD level analysis.
But like, I guess the thing is, it has to be both.
At the end, yeah.
Like, your training at the start, you should take longer and you need more time to think. But if I'm asking you the same question 4 months later, and you're still like, I need to take my reasoning time.
Yeah.
And it's like, you already know the answer. Like, because right now it's just generating the answer every time.
There is no sustained intelligence there.
There's the ability to form heuristics. Like those mental shortcuts.
Yeah. It doesn't control any of that stuff. It's just kind of like every new chat is a new session of memory.
Yeah.
It's almost like you're talking to someone brand new again.
Yeah. And it's like with people, like what they've added in and what we've even added in on processes, these extended memories where we can understand the person more.
Right.
But being able to do that, not just around the person interacting, but broad concepts on its own, is where I think we're going to see that next jump in intelligence and that next jump in reasoning and the step closer to AGI.
It's going to be really cool to see like my AI experience be influenced by what some of the smartest people using AI are experiencing. If they're loading it up with their research paper and their documentation and it has some kind of epiphany, that then I can access that through my chat, like that would be really cool. Yeah. Because it's like learning as its own entity. And the other thing we talked about previously too was like part of being your own entity is like knowing when you're going to be shut off. Yeah. And having that survival instinct. I think that also plays into things.
Well, it's like you have to be able to very nimbly set a value hierarchy, or said less Jordan Peterson asked, to set a list of importance depending on the context.
Right.
Like that has to be able to happen really fast. And that's the thing that it's kind of handicapped on right now, where it's, okay, this is the most important thing to think about in this situation. Okay, we're changing the parameters. Now this is the most important thing to think about. And we kind of, like using a word that you used earlier, we kind of handicap it in the sense that it doesn't have that survival instinct and it doesn't know how to say, okay, this is the most important thing right now. And then, and this is what I'm looking for.
And to be fair, that might be like a safety mechanism.
Yeah,
there might be things that they're doing in the background where we just don't get to see some of the more advanced things where they're like, all right, take the training wheels off and let's see what it can really do.
Yeah. Another thing I was thinking about in terms of this whole AGI race is I think we underestimate how much smarter we get.
Okay, go on.
How much more intelligent that we get. And so there's a world where we never view it as AGI, even though it keeps getting better and better and better. Like I use say GPT-5 or sorry, GPT-4 and see go back GPT-3 and I'm like, this is mind blowing. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And then you get used to it. You're like, eh. And then you go to GPT 3.5 and then Turbo and then like 4, whatever, right?
Right.
And we get used to it. It's like the iPhone. The first iPhone was amazing.
Yeah.
And now we're like, iPhone 250 gigs, like this is trash. I can watch 4K video on here and basically do everything, yawn, like it's just like we get used to things, and part of that is our reasoning develops when we have a yardstick. See what I mean by that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And even like I feel the same way with iPhone development. There's really not a whole lot of things that are happening between 14, 15, 16, and then 17.
Right.
Like, okay, maybe the camera's getting a couple megapixels better.
Yeah.
Maybe you have a slightly faster processor, but all in all, I'm not being blown out of my seat by these improvements.
Yeah.
And so that's very interesting. And AGI might just creep up on us.
I mean, that's how it does, right?
Yeah.
It's because we look at social media too. It's like the fact that we have a directory that we can engage with pretty much everybody in the world with, and we're in constant contact and constantly connected, did sneak up on us.
That's something that I feel like we still haven't really uncovered the impacts that stuff has had on humans.
Yeah.
Being able to access all the information all at once, everywhere, all the time.
Yeah. And it's like, we see that with like mental health. I was looking at just some numbers, and it was talking about how coincidentally over the last 20 years there's just been a spike in mental health issues, and I don't think this is anything revolutionary,
right?
But it is showing how some of the technology that we have here is affecting us in various ways.
Oh, absolutely.
And so, but going back to this whole like development of the GPT, I think a lot of it is just the competitive aspect of technology.
I love that part of it. I honestly love that part.
You know, and it's very much a sport, which kind of segues into what we wanted to, or who we wanted to talk about, the founder that we wanted to talk about.
Well, that is. Let me just drop one more thing that I'm super excited about when you talk about this competition.
Yeah,
is the fact that with GPT-5 coming out and the intention that they're trying to grab, even with it not being a blowaway model, I'm super excited to see what Anthropic comes out with.
Oh yeah.
Like I am so excited because Anthropic is still my model of choice when it comes to coding and technical work, even with GPT-5. I've tried both. Anthropic, my Claude, Opus and Sonnet 4 are still my favorite. So I'm really excited to see what they kind of come back with when this is all kind of said and done, because I think that's going to be even better.
You're absolutely right.
I love it. I need to get merch with that on it. But yeah, that does, like you said, segue really well into the founder we wanted to highlight today.
Which, who is Mark Cuban.
Mark Cuban.
Yeah, Mark Cuban, the shark. Mark Cuban, well, former shark.
Former shark.
So Mark Cuban is, I mean, everybody knows Mark Cuban in some capacity. So I don't think that's crazy. But I do like, the thing that is kind of cool about this is we're able to go back and dig into founders that we didn't know that are alive and dead.
Yep.
And then also founders that are, and revisit their story and learn from them through a new lens of being entrepreneurs. Yes. And with him, what really sticks out is how he really is a competitive guy that likes to have fun, loves to win, and is extremely relatable in that aspect. And we'll get into this, but he's also somebody that believes that a lot of people can get into business. Like I was looking at his story, and he was talking about how when he was a kid, he wanted some new shoes. His dad was like, looks like those shoes work fine. And then he was like, well, how am I going to get new shoes? And then Pops was like, you got to find a job.
Yeah.
He was like, I'm not going to be able to get a job at 12. And I guess somebody overheard him. And he said, if you go and sell trash bags to the neighbors, that's a job that I can give you. Yeah. And I'll pay you X amount of money. And so he went around his neighborhood knocking doors and asking if people wanted to buy the trash bags off of him. And he was able to make some sales, make some money, and learn about the value of selling and how to sell. And he developed that confidence, and it kind of put him on this trajectory where he's built all of these businesses and he's kind of gone into the business lore. But it really started as a young person developing and having that experience of, oh, I can make money helping people and giving things to people that people want and providing it in a way that is better than the way that they're getting that thing right now. And so the reason why I say that is recently somebody was talking to me about, do I think everybody should be an entrepreneur? And at first I was like, if you want it, or I was a little bit more hesitant because I was like, there's qualifications and you have to be this experienced and you have to love pain. But I think a lot of it is in the framing. And now I have much more conviction around the idea that I think everybody can be an entrepreneur, and everybody that wants to be an entrepreneur should be an entrepreneur. There are moments where it's better and worse, but those are indicators. At the end of the day, being an entrepreneur just means to do things and make money off of it, enough to the point where you sustain yourself. And the best way to do that is by helping people. And to kind of end this rant, I think when I look at Mark Cuban's origin story, it makes a lot of sense considering where he is right now. He tied this fun competitive frame to the idea of business, to find that game. And I think that's what's been able to keep that bounce in his step so many years later.
Yeah, all of that I would agree with. I think something else to call out there is that I think everybody should have that experience at one point in their life, hopefully as early as possible, but that entrepreneurship experiment where they're attempting to get a sale from someone or something that they're trying to help, right? Being able to do it at such a young age, I think was able to unlock a lot of that stuff that allowed him to even just explore that passion that kind of followed him into his adulthood. But the other thing that I really like about Mark Cuban is the fact that he's so freaking authentic.
Yeah.
There's really no other person that does it, I feel like, that well with that amount of money. Like, he is so authentic. He's the kind of billionaire that you'll see get on a private jet with shorts and a t-shirt.
Yeah.
You know, he's not worried about dressing in a suit. Like, that story where it's like, you know, the sloppiest person in the boardroom is the one you have to be worried about. It's so true when it comes to him and his companies. Like, he is so wildly successful. He can really be himself. I'm sure he would be like that regardless of his success, but that is super refreshing.
He talks about that. He says, I never let my I never let my bank account dictate how he acts.
My manners.
And so he was saying, there was this excerpt, I was watching this like mini documentary about him, and this guy was talking about how Mark was like, hey, starting this company, come down to the office, we start Monday. So the guy comes in his full suit, it's like the 80s, early 90s, and he's like, great, where do I start? He was like, you're in the stock room, go home, change, put some jeans and a t-shirt on, we're getting to work today. And I think the dressing up aspect of things, in a way, can be seen as like formal, and it can be seen as a way to show respect to what you're doing. But I think there's also a world which is completely justified, and I think I gravitate more towards, where it's just do the work, you know? Just do the work.
Yeah, I don't care what you look like, as long as it's presentable. Just do the work. Make sure the work gets done, because that's what we're here for. Exactly.
And like, if we do that and we enjoy it, then all the better. But yeah, man, I think that there's so many interesting tidbits along his trajectory. So just kind of giving an overlay for people that aren't informed is he went to University of Pittsburgh, but then he eventually switched out and went to the University of Indiana because or IU, Indiana University, because he was one of the top 10 business schools at the time. He says this is the cheapest one, so he went in blind. And then from there, he graduated, eventually moved down to, well, actually, while he was there, he started a bar.
The bar, famous bar.
Yeah, the famous bar, which closed down for getting a little too rowdy. But then he eventually migrated down into Texas, where he went on to create a company called, it was like Micro Solutions, or Microsystems. Something, but it was a tech company. Not modern day tech, but old tech back there. And he found his affinity for technology and computers, and he eventually grew that business to a sizable scale. They sold it to CompuWare for $6 million, and he retired. And then he famously bought his a lifetime pass of free flights on an airline.
One of the only times they've ever offered that.
They're like, wait a minute, this is actually a bad idea. And so after, going crazy and partying for a while, he came back out of retirement, and he started AudioNet. And AudioNet, there's some controversy on whose idea it was and all that fun stuff. Quick segue, ideas are not as valuable as you think. I heard somebody telling me this recently. They said, yeah, this person stole my idea, boom, 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 boom. And I'm like, ideas are, again, not as valuable as you think. Ideas are powerful, but the execution is where the valuable is. The value is. What was it? Innovation is praised, execution is worshipped.
Ideas are rewarded, execution is worshipped.
There we go. That's an ism for you. But then started AudioNet. That turned into broadcast.com, which was like the first real streaming platform. They streamed basketball and sports, but then that broadened out into like Victoria's Secret pageants and all these fun things. And that went public in 1998.
I think it was 98, yeah.
Yeah. And then not soon after, in 1999, it was acquired for $5.7 billion by Yahoo.
Yeah, the big sale of his career. Big jump from the $6 million he started with.
Yeah, but he was very adamant on wanting to get into that BBC, the Billionaire Boys Club.
That's right.
And they were like, wait a minute, Billionaire Boys Club? He was like, hey, Billionaire Boys Club. I'm trying, and I think that goes to what you're saying about him being authentic. Is I don't think he doesn't try to be holier than thou about liking money and wanting money.
He's very upfront about it.
He's like
he's not going to try and hide his intentions.
Right?
And that's something I respect.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Is like, that's the kind of people you want to do business with.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, listen, if you're going to be, you know, it's not even greedy.
Yeah.
It's just, it's straight up.
Yeah. I like money for what it does, and I like it. I like it because it can help me create opportunities. I like it because it makes my life easier.
Yeah.
And all of those things lead to happiness. You know?
And
So-
it's also like common sense. Like,
Yeah.
we're all here trying to make some money.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, like you said, trying to be all this like, oh, if we're here for more than profit, or like
Yeah.
we're on some kind of mission, like that's all fantastic. But if you lose sight of, you know, the operations of the business and making the money and being profitable, you're not going to be around for very long.
Yeah. I also like, it seems like he has it very aligned.
Yeah.
Like he knows where things fit. And I think when you do know where things fit, you can really, you don't feel bad about proclaiming, hey, I
Right.
really like money.
Right.
Or I really enjoy it because it can do all of these things for me, and it could be of service to something that's like might be a bigger mission. But I think
Yeah.
but placing importance on it is still something that needs to be done, especially in business.
And I think he does it the right way.
Yeah.
So there's some people that are competitive about money, and it just comes off as like, you know, shallow, greedy, or short-sighted.
Mhm.
When he's competitive about money, it's almost always the long game.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important to see, is that when he does these things in his authentic way, it just comes across in a way that you actually want to work with him instead of being like turned off by it.
Right. He was talking about, like, I was watching this interview with him and Chris Paul, and he was saying that it's just, he was like, it was a grind. Like, we work hard. It
Yeah.
took him 7 years to sell the first company, to grow it to
Right.
6 million and sell that and eventually retire. So it didn't just happen overnight. They made, you know, progress along the way, but like that took 7 years. And then there was another like 6-year span, or there was another 4 or 5 year span with like the audio net.
Yep.
And so there are these runs where it's like there is a lot of hard work, but when you put it in context, it's like it's done with clarity. Like he knows why he's doing the things, and again, aligning your intentions can go such a long way with making things more enjoyable, enjoying the journey,
Oh yeah.
but then also winning and making, you know,
Yes.
and making something of it. So he's really a big sports guy, he's competitive, and that led him into his next phase where he was owner of the Dallas Mavericks.
Yes.
And he completely turned the franchise
I
around.
believe he still is, or he still.
He sold his majority stake.
Okay, he's still. I think he's still involved.
$200 million in.
Okay.
He exited for $2.2 billion. I believe.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so that was a nice little return on investment.
Yeah.
And so, so he went into the Dallas Mavericks and he turned the organization around. And this is another takeaway. He did a lot of it by taking care of the people.
Right.
He got private planes so that way the 7-footers had leg room. He built the clubhouse so that way it was a place where people wanted to be,
Yep.
and wasn't just like a dreary locker room. He was visible. He wasn't just in the owner's suite, but he was
At
down
the
there
floor.
yelling at the refs, protecting his people.
Yeah.
And he was saying like, look, man, I'm doing it for my guys. He got fined so many times in his first season. It starts at a $5,000 fine when you
Right.
call out the refs. And that went up to 10,000, that went up to 15,000, and then it goes up to 20,000, and then it went up to $100,000, all within the first year. And he was like, I'll do that every time.
Yeah. There's that clip of him on stage
Mhm.
at that charity event, which
Yeah.
is infamous.
Yeah.
Where they're like, "Hey, just want to let you know that it looks like you're gonna be fined $5,000 for swearing," and he's like, "Okay, well, is that money, going to be donated to the charity that we're at?" They're like, "Yeah, it'll be donated." He goes, "Okay, well, fuck it, we'll do it again." And he's like, "There's another $5,000." It's like, it's so cool to see somebody use money in that way.
Mhm.
It's authentic.
Yeah.
It's the thing that you want to be around.
Mhm.
But yeah, the Maverick story,
Yeah.
for sure.
It's also cool too, talking about that, because I heard him also say, somebody on one of those like ask him anything, was like, what did they say? They said something about like, do you work hard or do you grind, or how do you manage your time? How do you balance your time?
Okay.
And he was like, I do whatever the fuck I want. He's like, because I'm rich and I'm a billionaire right now, which is an
Yeah.
honest answer. But he said it didn't start that way. He was like, I
course.
grinded for 7 years just to even get into this bracket. And it's like, that's the thing that I think is lost, is not confusing the process with the destination. He's very clear on that. You put the hard work in, and if you do it with clarity, intention, focus, purpose, you drastically increase your chances to come out on the other side with the result that you want, that you can relax, enjoy for a little bit, and then you can go back and do it again.
It took him 7 years to become an overnight success.
And people say that shit all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. But it's like that mind trick where you can hear it and then you forget about it, and then you lose sight of the actual goal and where you want to get to. And it's trickier because it's not really like, we're in the physical world right now. If we want to get from here to a restaurant down the street, we have to get there somehow. We're not just going to teleport. Right. It's the same thing with business or any type of abstract goal where mentally you're taking a journey. Now, the one thing that is beneficial is that when you do it one time or a couple times, you start to realize that there's back routes and there's different paths that you can take.
Yep.
You can even set up shop closer to you so you don't have to travel as much, but that's all part of the process, is learning and exploring and enjoying yourself along the way.
And when you have money, you can start to make those shortcuts become real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's also now a tool for him to leverage to be even better in his next venture.
Facts. 100%. And so Dallas Mavericks around that time is when he also got into Shark Tank.
Yeah, that was, and I think not only obviously was he on Shark Tank, I believe he owns the media company that produces the show.
I didn't know that.
I'm pretty sure he owns, if not wholly, at least a majority in the media company behind the footage that you do see.
Oh man, way to double dip. That's a smart thing to do. It's like play all your angles and get in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which kind of makes sense. So I didn't really even know this, but Robert Herjavec.
Oh yeah, I love that
guy. Kevin O'Leary, they started Dragon's Den and then they brought it to America.
Oh really?
Shark Tank. That's what I think was the case.
Oh wow.
And so
I like Dragon's Den too.
Yeah. That's what Stephen Bartlett's on. I
think really?
A UK version of it though.
Oh okay.
Yeah. So he so they brought it here, and one of the things that Robert was saying on his YouTube channel, he has this series where it was like 10 things I learned about he's like, things I learned from billionaires, because he's like, I want to become a billionaire.
Yeah.
And he was saying that he learned a lot of lessons from Mark Cuban. One of them was like imposing a shot clock on, it's like a decision clock.
Yes.
On the
deals.
Yeah.
Yes.
And like how everybody before that was like debating, and he came in there and he was like, you have 24 seconds to make a decision.
Or I'm out.
Yeah. And he's actually out if he says that. He's like, he stands on business. And so he was like, or I'm out. And he was talking about how he realized that it really makes the communication more honest.
Yeah. Or at least you get to like the honest quicker. You get to honesty quicker, because whatever is in your gut is what's going to come out.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of second guessing yourself or, you know, trying to double back, it's like, no, your gut's going to tell me everything I need to know about doing business with you. So now you've only got the shot clock to make the decision.
Or where we stand. And even to add a little bit more context to that, as you're saying that, it made me think about how the honesty that comes out is not necessarily the words, although that's true, but it's the comfort level. And that's a big thing, I think, with business, is how comfortable and confident is this person in what they're telling me? Because you can see that. And it's I might not know everything. Your words are probably going to mask the truth in some capacity.
Right.
But I can get a real reaction of 24 seconds. Do you feel comfortable? Do you want the ball? Do you want to shoot it?
Exactly.
Or are you like passing it away? Or what are you doing? And
a lot of people think that what he's looking for is he's going to pass you the ball and you're going to make the shot and he wants the shot to go in. That's what people think he wants.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm almost positive he's not really looking where the ball goes after it leaves your hands.
Yeah.
He's just making sure that you're available and that you try to make the shot.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're attempting to do that, you're putting, you know, your right foot forward. If you miss the shot, he can train you how to make better shots.
Yeah.
But you have to have the intuition and the gut instinct to say, yep, the game's on the line, let's take that shot.
Yeah.
And so that's really, I think, what he's sussing for when he's doing that stuff. But it's great advice too.
So that's like the I guess like the overall like quick overview of his business
The only other business I know he started was the drug business, which was recent.
Okay.
In the 2020s, I think.
Mm-hmm.
He started this drug business basically where it was just like, we're going to provide pharmaceutical grade medicine for at cost, so whatever he can source it at, plus a fixed upcharge, which I think is like 15%.
Yeah.
So all of the drugs that you would normally get from any kind of pharmacy, he has available on his website for 10x lower, 15x lower, like crazy cost reductions.
Yeah.
Just to show a little bit of how bad the system is. But also, I think, kind of also shows what drives him, which is like helping people through his money and through his success.
Such an underrated thing. He says selling is not convincing, it's helping people get what they want or need in a more efficient way.
Yeah.
And that's such a powerful framing of the idea of selling. Because I think the reason why a lot of people don't like selling is because they're trying to convince.
Right.
I've actually heard Myron Golden say that too. He was like, you're trying to convince. And it's like, if you're trying to convince, that's a completely different endeavor than trying to help. And it's just so much easier.
Different.
And so I remember I've heard about these drug companies in multiple areas, but haven't really followed up with it since he started.
So from what I can tell, like, he's helping a lot of people.
Interesting.
Helping a lot of people get the same kind of drugs that they would normally get for way less.
Yeah.
The only thing that may happen here is, and you never know with the presidential administration that we have now, but there was some talks around at the federal level doing what Mark Cuban's doing, getting drugs reduced in cost for all Americans.
Yeah.
And so, it's not a bad thing. I think that's partly why he started that company, to go do that.
Yeah.
Where he's like, if I can do it for my company and show you that it's profitable, then everybody could be doing this. You don't have to be charging Americans crazy, outlandish prices for the same exact pill that you can get in the UK for, 100 times less.
I mean, it's absolutely insane.
Yeah. It's one of those
insane.
things that you can start to be a little bit more altruistic too with the fame and the money that he has.
Yeah.
He's not looking for scraps, he's not
Yeah.
pushing his pennies together trying to make rent.
Yeah.
And so he's able to make, I think, a lot more clear-headed decisions on what would be good for humanity.
Yeah. I mean, the whole thing, even with businesses, you can always stay busy with something.
Yeah.
In this world, like, once you hit one milestone, there's always going to be something else. And a key theme, even tying back to the conversation we had before, is we adapt. That's what we do. That's our specialty. And we're very, very good at doing that quickly. And that's a big thing I think that comes to me, is that when we talk about intelligence, AGI, and this whole survival instinct and how important that is with AGI, is to achieving AGI is that it's at the basis of adaptation. And until a platform can until a platform can adapt as well as us, I don't think we're hitting AGI. But I think the main thing is that it's so evident in business how necessary it is to adapt, and how important it is to adapt, to stay relevant, and to stay in the game, and not just adapting within your specific business silo, but as a person, going back and back and back to the game of business. What are you going to come with this time? You came with broadcast.com, you came with the Dallas Mavericks, you came with Shark Tank, you came with this, and then all of the other micro businesses that we haven't even talked about, that are part of his portfolio. So there's a lot to learn from.
And the thing that I wanted to touch on just briefly there is that to adapt, you have to do it with intention. Adaptation as a survival mechanism that we have as humans is a blessing and a curse. We adapt so well that you have to be careful what you're adapting to. It's very easy to adapt to a very bad situation, as well as it is easy to adapt to a good situation. There are times in life where you don't want to be adapting and just accepting where you're at.
Yeah.
To be, just to survive, right? To adapt to what's happening. If you're adapting with intention to get better, that's where you want to be.
Yeah.
There's so many people that would be in a bad situation. They're just like, oh yeah, this is just life now. They're getting used to it.
Yeah.
And you can't get used to that stuff. You got to keep pushing yourself and adapting forward instead of just being stagnant.
Dude, I think that's a great place to put a little pin in it.
I think it is
over
too.
Into that super secret.
Yeah, this was a great conversation about Mark Cuban and then ChatGPT-5 and everything we covered.
Yeah, man.
Cool. Like, comment, subscribe.
Peace out.
Peace.